We do have more breaking news this morning. Two big names in the NBA among more than 30 people arrested in connection with federal investigation into sports betting and illegal gambling.
The NBA is in chaos as shocking reports claim Stephen Curry, LeBron James, and Luka Doncic have been arrested in connection with a massive gambling scandal. Allegations of insider betting and leaked information have shaken the league to its core. In this video, we'll uncover what led to their downfall and what happens next. Operation Nothing But Bet. The federal probe. Uncovered. A sweeping federal investigation has exposed what many feared for years, a deep infiltration of illegal gambling within professional basketball. The case, known in some reports as Operation Nothing But Bet, centers on allegations that confidential NBA information was leaked to aid high-stakes betting networks. Federal authorities allege that insiders had access to team data, medical records, and lineup changes, details that could dramatically sway betting odds before the public ever knew.
All right, we've got some breaking news for you. Miami Heat point guard Terry Rozier and Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups have been arrested in connection to an FBI sports gambling investigation.
Unsealed indictments from the Eastern District of New York outline how, between late 2022 and early 2024, multiple defendants obtained pre-release medical information and internal team strategy from sources inside NBA organizations. Investigators describe a system where private locker room conversations, injury updates, and game plans were quietly sold or exchanged for cash. These tips were passed along to bettors who would place massive wagers before bookmakers could adjust the odds. What made this scheme so dangerous wasn't just the money involved, it was the betrayal of the game's core principles. Basketball, like all sports, relies on unpredictability. Fans and players expect fair competition. But when someone knows in advance that a star won't play or that a lineup is about to change, every shot, every rebound, and every point becomes suspect. It's the sports equivalent of insider trading. Authorities describe the operation as a sophisticated conspiracy involving athletes, coaches, and intermediaries who exploited confidential information for profit. The impact was immediate. Federal agents traced dozens of betting accounts linked to insiders, uncovering a web of shell companies and encrypted messages connecting the leaks to specific games. The public's reaction was explosive. Fans felt betrayed. Analysts questioned whether any past results might have been affected. As the probe widened, whispers began circulating through the league. Who knew, who benefited, and who's still silent? The investigation has already rewritten the narrative of professional basketball's relationship with gambling, transforming it from a lucrative partnership into a potential threat to the very soul of the sport. Tipping the odds. The Damon Jones case and inside injury intelligence. At the center of this unfolding scandal stands former NBA player and assistant coach Damon Jones, a figure whose access to star athletes allegedly became a conduit for insider information. Prosecutors claim Jones used his privileged position to share confidential injury updates and player availability data with associates who then placed large bets.
Well, Malik, I think there's two ways to look at it. There's the gambling on basketball games, and then there's the tipping part of it. Tipping is considered giving inside information here, and that's what Terry Rozier and Damon Jones, the former assistant coach and player, are being accused of here.
According to court filings, Jones sent a message to a bettor ahead of a 2023 Lakers-Bucks matchup, warning that a key player would miss the game due to an ankle injury. The public only learned of the injury hours later, but by then, the betting lines had shifted dramatically, and the insiders had already cashed in. In another instance, Jones allegedly advised that a star would be limited in minutes before tip-off, prompting a six-figure wager against his team. This time, the gamble backfired when the player exceeded expectations and led his team to victory. What makes Jones's case so pivotal is how clearly it demonstrates the vulnerability of professional sports to insider misuse. In the world of sports betting, information is currency, and few had more of it than Jones. As a former player turned coach, he was close to locker room discussions, medical updates, and player routines. When that access crosses into the betting world, the lines blur between sportsmanship and corruption. Jones maintains that he only shared speculation, not confidential details. Prosecutors argue otherwise, pointing to message logs and payment trails that show a pattern of coordinated betting following his tips. Whether he is convicted or not, the damage to the NBA's reputation is already done. This case underscores the fragility of trust in the league's information systems. A single text, a casual remark, or a whispered update can become a weapon in the gambling market. The moment insider access is monetized, the purity of the game evaporates. What once was a sport defined by competition has now become a target for exploitation. And Jones's story serves as both a cautionary tale and a warning of just how easily that trust can be sold. Unauthorized access, how non-public team information became a betting commodity. At the heart of the scandal lies a powerful and simple truth. knowledge is profit. Non-public team information, injuries, substitutions, player availability became the most valuable currency in the underground betting world. According to the indictments, insiders across multiple organizations passed along team secrets before they became public. That information shaped betting lines, prop bets, and game outcomes.
Wilbon, this is at least a public relations nightmare for the NBA.
Total.
What sort of pressure is on Commissioner Adam Silver right now?
None.
Imagine this. A player tweaks a hamstring in practice. The team decides to rest him but hasn't yet updated the official injury report. Within minutes, a staff member, assistant, or close associate leaks the news to a bettor. Bets are placed immediately, often on prop markets like under points or under minutes played. By the time the information becomes public, the odds have shifted, and the insiders are already collecting their winnings. This is the sports equivalent of insider trading. While the stock market has laws to prevent such exploitation, the fast-growing sports betting industry remains more loosely regulated, and that's exactly where this conspiracy found its power. Prop bets, in particular, became the perfect vehicle. They're small enough to avoid detection, but lucrative enough when multiplied across hundreds of wagers. Federal prosecutors described the network as a coordinated effort to monetize private team decisions before disclosure. What began as occasional tips evolved into a structured pipeline, with insiders feeding data to intermediaries who filtered it into online betting platforms. Over time, it became a shadow economy, trading in secrets rather than statistics. The consequences extend beyond legal ramifications. For fans, the scandal erodes faith in the authenticity of competition. For players, it places their private health data at risk of exploitation. And for the league, it signals a deeper systemic failure, one where internal safeguards couldn't stop confidential information from being turned into profit. The question now facing the NBA is how to close that gap, because in a digital age where data flows instantly and gambling is only a click away, keeping team information private isn't just a matter of ethics. It's a fight for the survival of fair play itself. The league's response. National Basketball Association weighs its integrity. When the indictments first broke, the NBA found itself standing at a crossroads between the promise of a global entertainment empire and the shadow of corruption creeping through its walls. Commissioner Adam Silver's immediate statement was firm yet cautious. The integrity of our competition is our highest priority. It was a line meant to reassure fans, sponsors, and investors alike. But inside league headquarters, panic was real.
Good morning. Today we are here in New York to announce a historic arrest across a wide-sweeping criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and La Cosa Nostra.
The NBA has long embraced legal sports betting as a source of fan engagement and new revenue. Partnerships with major sportsbooks have become a multi-million-dollar engine for the league's growth. But this scandal exposed the dangerous double edge of that relationship. The same accessibility that made betting profitable also made it vulnerable. And for a league that prides itself on fairness, the optics were devastating. Behind closed doors, executives ordered a full-scale internal review. Teams received urgent memos reminding them to strengthen confidentiality around player availability, injury reports, and medical updates. Staff were briefed on the potential legal risks of leaking internal information, even in casual conversations or private texts. For some, it was the first time they realized how easily everyday chatter could become criminal evidence. The NBA also began coordinating with federal investigators, offering access to internal communication logs and compliance records. Sources describe a climate of anxiety. Employees worried their messages or calls might appear in court filings. Coaches and trainers faced increased scrutiny over how they handled player data. The league's public posture emphasized cooperation and reform, but the larger question loomed. Could any sport truly guarantee integrity in an era when data is currency? Insiders admit the system was never designed for a world where real-time injury updates could influence billions in wagers. As the dust settled, it became clear that this was more than a public relations crisis. It was an existential reckoning. The NBA wasn't just fighting a legal battle, it was fighting for its soul. Fans wanted reassurance that what they were watching was still real, that games were decided by talent and teamwork, not by tips and timing. And until the league rebuilds that trust, every buzzer beater and every injury update will be seen through a different lens, one of suspicion, public fallout, betting, media scrutiny, and the shifting culture. The public reaction to the scandal was explosive. For years, sports betting had been marketed as harmless entertainment, a way to enhance the fan experience. But as the allegations surfaced, the mood changed overnight. What once seemed like a harmless wager now looked like the gateway to manipulation. Fans began asking a chilling question: how much of what we see on the court is genuine, and how much is already priced into someone's bet?
I do think we should be upset, concerned, because sports is a huge part of our fabric of society. American society, we love our sports. Our kids love our sports. And I think that we have to do everything we can to fight back against these criminal elements.
The media seized on that tension. Headlines painted a grim picture, a league intertwined with betting platforms, now seemingly undermined by its own openness to them. Commentators compared the scandal to the 1919 Black Sox incident, a century-old reminder that even beloved games can be corrupted from within. The irony was glaring. The NBA had spent years legitimizing gambling, and now gambling threatened its legitimacy. Social media turned into a courtroom. Clips of questionable plays and sudden rest announcements went viral, with fans speculating on whether they were part of something bigger. Every late scratch, every load management decision became potential evidence in the public eye. It didn't help that the scandal broke during a period when player injuries and unpredictable lineups were already frustrating fans. Lawmakers quickly joined the chorus. Congressional committees began requesting transparency reports from the NBA and its betting partners, questioning how player data was safeguarded. Sportsbooks faced calls to enhance detection systems for suspicious betting activity tied to insider information. Even commentators who once championed betting integration began urging caution. For players, the fallout was personal. They faced renewed skepticism, not because of what they did, but because of what others around them might have done. A missed free throw, a sudden substitution, a mysterious ankle tweak. Everything was viewed through the lens of gambling. Ultimately, the scandal forced a cultural reckoning. Sports betting had become inseparable from the viewing experience, integrated into broadcasts, apps, and team sponsorships. But now, the public was seeing the other side, how deeply those same connections could undermine trust. The scandal didn't just expose corruption, it revealed the fragility of faith between fans and the sport they love. The regulatory horizon toward oversight, reform, and compliance. Once the initial shock faded, the focus shifted to the future, how to prevent this from ever happening again. For regulators and league officials, the scandal wasn't just a crime to punish, it was a system to fix. Inside the NBA, discussions began about deploying new layers of digital oversight. Integrity monitoring systems, once considered routine, were being rebuilt from the ground up. Artificial intelligence would scan betting data across sportsbooks, flagging unusual wagers tied to player props or team injuries. League partners were instructed to report spikes in betting activity within minutes of any team announcements.
So all these guys knew what was at stake, and I'm just ashamed that they put themselves and put their family and put the NBA in this position.
Beyond technology, reform meant changing human behavior. Training programs were rolled out for players, coaches, and staff, emphasizing that even innocent sharing of non-public information could violate federal law. The message was simple: silence protects the game. But reform isn't limited to the league. Lawmakers at both state and federal levels began pushing for stricter rules around betting-related disclosures. There's talk of a new oversight body specifically focused on professional sports integrity, one that could operate independently of the leagues themselves. Sportsbooks, too, are under pressure. They may soon have to disclose data on large or unusual bets tied to insider access. For teams, internal culture is changing fast. Medical updates, once casually discussed among staff or friends, are now tightly controlled. Some franchises have begun restricting which employees can access injury reports before they're made public. Still, regulation faces a paradox. The more the NBA integrates betting, the harder it becomes to fully separate from it. The league profits from betting partnerships, but those same relationships make it vulnerable to scandal. Reform will require walking a tightrope between transparency and control. In the end, this isn't just about legal compliance, it's about restoring faith. The NBA must convince fans that games are decided by competition, not by who had the best tip on a sprained ankle. And in that sense, the true victory won't come from a courtroom, but from a clean scoreboard. The unnamed players, identity, allegations, and the question of culpability. Amid all the noise, one truth stands out. The biggest names, Stephen Curry, LeBron James, and Luka Doncic, have not been credibly listed as defendants in this federal probe. Their names have circulated in speculation, but not in any official indictment. That fact matters. It separates rumor from record, and it highlights how quickly misinformation can spiral in the era of instant news.
LeBron James' name has been dragged into the massive NBA gambling scandal, but I want to make it clear that as of right now, while we're recording this, LeBron is not a part of nor had anything to do directly with the scandal.
Still, the shadow of association lingers. The public often conflates mention with guilt, and in this case, even being linked by proximity has reputational consequences. For global icons like Curry, LeBron, and Doncic, the damage comes not from arrest records, but from public imagination. Every headline, every whisper chips away at trust. For investigators, the absence of star names is significant. It suggests that the scheme may have relied on peripheral figures, those with enough access to gather intel, but not enough visibility to draw suspicion. Trainers, assistants, former players, the in-between people of professional sports. Yet the fact that high-profile players' data could have been leaked without their knowledge raises its own alarm. If superstars' health and availability can be traded behind the scenes, then even they are victims of this system. Culpability in this case is not just about who placed the bets, it's about who enabled them. The federal probe continues to trace the flow of information, following digital breadcrumbs from locker rooms to betting accounts. Each connection paints a picture of how fragile privacy really is in the sports world. As for the stars, they face a new reality, one where every public statement and private update can be weaponized by those seeking profit. It's a reminder that fame doesn't protect anyone from being pulled into controversy. Sometimes it only amplifies it. The story is still unfolding. More indictments may come. More names may surface. But for now, the line between rumor and reality remains vital. Until proven otherwise, the stars of the NBA stand not as culprits, but as symbols of what's at stake: the credibility of the sport itself. The allegations surrounding Stephen Curry, LeBron James, and Luka Doncic have placed the NBA under intense scrutiny. As investigations continue, the league's response will be critical in restoring trust, safeguarding its integrity, and defining how it handles future gambling-related controversies.